moving. But here in Ohio, you can vote early. Here in Ohio, you can vote right after this event. If you want to know where to vote, you go to vote.barackobama.com. He already voted, and he's proud of it. Anybody who is here who has not yet voted, I want you to go vote. Because you've got a very big choice to make.
Easy choice.
Not just a choice between two candidates or two parties, but two different visions for this country that we love. Last night we had our third debate. I hope I made it clear that there's a big difference between me and Mitt Romney. And it's not just that he's got better hair. The greatest responsibility I have as president is to keep the American people safe. That's why I ended the war in Iraq, so we could go after the terrorists who actually attacked us on 9/11. That's why working with Joe Biden and our national security team, we've been able to decimate Al-Qaeda. That's why we're able to bring Osama bin Laden to justice. That's why we're now ending the war in Iraq, because after a decade of war, it's time to do some nation building right here in Ohio. Do some nation building here in the United States of America. In a world of new threats and challenges, America needs leadership that is strong and steady. Unfortunately, Governor Romney's foreign policy has been wrong and reckless. You heard him last night. He was all over the map. During the debate, he said he didn't want more troops in Iraq. But he was caught on a video just a few months ago saying it was unthinkable not to leave 20,000 troops in Iraq. Those troops would still be there today instead of back home. Last night, he claimed to support my plan to end the war in Afghanistan. But he opposed a timeline that would actually bring the rest of our troops home. Last night he said taking out bin Laden was the right thing to do. Back in 2007 he said it wasn't worth moving heaven and earth to catch one man. Now I recognize that we must have some doctors in the house, because I've already heard people identify this condition. It's called amnesia. And we had a severe case breaking out last night. So I want to go over the symptoms with you, because Dayton, I sure don't want anybody to catch it here in Ohio. Talk about how much you love teachers during a debate. But just a few weeks ago you said we shouldn't hire anymore because it won't grow our economy. You might have amnesia. If you say you won't give a big tax cut to the wealthy, but you're on a video promising your tax cut would include the top 1%, that sounds like a classic case of amnesia. If you say that you love American cars during a debate, you're a car guy, but you wrote an article titled, "Let Detroit Go Bankrupt," you definitely have a case of amnesia. Now, last night, Governor Romney looked you right in the eye, looked me in the eye, tried to pretend that he never said, "Let Detroit go bankrupt." Tried to pretend he meant the same thing I did when we intervened and worked to make sure that management and workers got together to save the U.S. auto industry. Pretended like somehow I had taken his advice. The people don't forget. when the auto industry was on the verge of collapse, we might not have an American auto industry today. We'd be buying cars from China instead of selling cars to China. And you know how important that is to Ohio? The auto industry supports 1 in 8 Ohio jobs. It's a source of pride to this state. It is a source of pride to our country. It's a source of pride to generations of workers. I refuse to walk away from those workers. I bet on those workers. I refuse to walk away from those jobs. I understood that Americans can compete. I wasn't about to let Detroit go bankrupt or Toledo go bankrupt, or Lordstown go bankrupt. I bet on American workers. I bet on American manufacturing. I will do it again because that bet has paid off for Ohio and for America. Here's the good news, Ohio. If you come down with a case of amnesia, if you can't seem to remember the positions that you've taken, not just 4 years ago, but 4 days ago, if you don't remember the positions that are on your website, if you don't remember the promises you've been making during the 6 years that you've been running for president, you don't have to worry because Obamacare covers pre-existing conditions. There's a cure. There's a cure. There's a cure, but you got to vote to make sure that the medicine is there for amnesia. Now, you know, we joke about Governor Romney being all over the map, but it speaks to something important. It speaks of trust. There's no more serious issue in a presidential campaign than trust. Trust matters. You know, you want to know that the person who's applying to be your president and commander-in-chief is trustworthy. That he means what he says. That he's not just making stuff up, depending on whether it's convenient or not. So, you know, smart people who they don't have a dog in this fight. They crunch the numbers, and we know that Governor Romney's jobs plan doesn't really create jobs. We know his deficit plan doesn't really reduce the deficit. His foreign policies from the 1980s, before the Cold War was over. His social policies from the 1950s. And his economic policies are from the 1920s. He knows he can't sell that, even though those are his positions. So, in the closing weeks of the campaign, he's doing everything he can to hide his true positions and tell us what he thinks you want to hear, and then spend most of his time telling you what he thinks is wrong with America. Joe Biden just talked about that, talking about America's in decline. He is terrific at making presentations about stuff he thinks is wrong with America. But he sure can't give you an answer about what will make it right. And that's not leadership that you can trust. You know how you know me. You know I mean what I say. You know that I do what I say I'm going to do. You know that I'll make the tough decisions even when they're not popular. Folks don't remember what we did with the auto industry. It wasn't popular when we did. It wasn't even popular in Michigan and Ohio. But it was necessary. And because I had folks like Joe Biden with me who can support me when I make tough decisions, we went ahead and did what we thought was right. And I know people may not agree with every decision we make, but you know that I'm doing it because I'm fighting for the American people. I'm doing what I believe. That's what you need from a president. Yes, we've been through tough times, but there's no quit in America. Our businesses have added more than 5 million new jobs over the past 2.5 years. Manufacturing is growing faster than any time since the 1990s. Our unemployment rate has fallen to the lowest level since I took office. Home values are rising. The stock market has rebounded. Our assembly lines are humming again. Our heroes are coming home. Years ago, I promised to cut taxes for middle-class families, and I kept that promise. I promised to cut taxes for small businesses. We have 18 times. We got back every dime we used to rescue the banks with interest. And then we passed a law to end taxpayer-funded Wall Street bailouts for good. We repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell, because anybody who wants to serve in our military, if they're a great soldier, Marine, or Airman, or Coast Guard, then they should be able to serve regardless of who they like. We saved the American auto industry. Its engines are roaring at full throttle for nearly 250,000 new jobs. That's not just something that the Midwest can be proud of, that's something America can be proud of. Now we know we're not where we need to be. Not here, not anywhere. But we've made real progress. We've got to build on that progress. We can't go back to what got us into this mess. We need to move forward with what's getting us out of this mess. And that's why I'm running for a second term as President of the United States.